Hey guys, today is an exciting day. We're finally going to start seeds indoors. Here I am in my living room. Right there is my kitchen, my island. Whenever I cook, I can see in here. And that is one of the reasons why I decided to start my seeds over here. Now, last year I had it here and I had very good success with starting my seedlings. I had a very good germination rate. But I'm gonna start bringing stuff in here and setting up my seed starting station right here. First thing we're gonna do though is I'm gonna go through all the seeds that I have from last year that I'll be using this year, seeds that I've already purchased for the coming year, and there are some more seeds that I want to purchase, but I hope to do it within the next few days. Now, when it came to deciding where I want to put my seed starting setup, I was not gonna do it here. I was thinking of doing it in a different room where I have like a full length window coming basically down to the floor. And I thought that it might be a good idea because it'll have more light for all of the shelves on my seed starting rack. Over the last couple of days I realized that that room, even though it has such a big window, it does not have the best light. Now, the spot where I am right now, I have this window over here where on the seed starting rack, I will have two shelves that will be above the window, and I have a window facing me, a big window. So there's lots and lots of natural sunlight coming into this area. And the bonus is that I have the kitchen right here and I can constantly see it. And I remembered the joy that I had last year every time I was cooking and I saw it, there was a joy, like an excitement, looking forward to getting to plant it and harvesting the stuff. And also it's easier to keep track of and watch the seedlings, like from nothing to like spotting the little sprouts as they're coming up. It was very exciting to have it up here, and anybody coming into the house, which we do have a lot of people coming and going in here, people loved watching the process as well, and it makes it more exciting for them as well to watch it like starting from nothing and then going out into the garden and seeing it growing over there and be able to enjoy all the vegetables coming off of it. So like I said, the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to show you what seeds we're going to be working with this year. So here I have all my seeds and I've already sorted them by dates that they should be started. And the way that I keep track of it is that I got myself a little journal, a little planner, and what I did was that when I got my seed order, I went through on all the seed packets and I read the labels of it and I saw how much time it needs if it needs to be planted outside, direct sown, after the frost. If it has to be started inside, I separated them by how many weeks they need inside before they could be transplanted. And then I went and I checked my last frost date. That is, for me, going to be mid-May. So I wrote down in my calendar by mid-May, I wrote down average last frost date, and from there I backtracked however many weeks I needed, and I wrote down what seeds I would need to start at what time, and I did this all in pencil. The reason for this is because, let's say my onions, I could have started them last week, not that last week, I could have started them on Sunday. Today is Wednesday. If I want to be able to keep track of fertilizing my starters and fertilizing them once they're transplanted, I want to have them in pencil so that once I plant them, I will write them in pen, and then I'll be able to keep track of when I need to fertilize, when it's time to transplant, and all that stuff. So it's not a must, but I feel like last year I didn't have a proper handle on like when I planted stuff, how much time they needed, when is it time to harvest. I feel like if I do it like this, hopefully I'll have a better success rate with fertilizing and harvesting and estimating when things are ready. Okay. Now to all the seeds. The first things I'm going to show you is onions. Now for onions, you have to check in your area, wherever you live, because there's like different day lengths for types of varieties of onions. I'm not going to go into depth in this video about it. Maybe in the future I'll do one. But for my onion varieties, whatever would be good for me, I got a New York Early, a Powell. Both of these are white, and I got a ruby red onion. Now, none of these have pictures, so I'm going to pop them up on screen for you. This is a New York Early. This is the Powell F1. And here I have a ruby red onion. And these are 3 that we're going to start today, so I'm going to leave it on the side because those we're going to be starting at the end of this video. Okay, I have put them into the bag by date, so that is very helpful. I made like little bundles with like a paper clip. The ones in the bags are ones from last year because I didn't want to lose the seeds for it. I always struggle opening them up even though they are officially resealable. I have here some Utah celery. The next thing we'll be starting is some Black Beauty eggplant. This I did last year as well and we loved it. So we're going to be doing that again. The next thing we have are a few peppers. We're going to see how these are going to work for me. You'll see I have quite a few peppers that we're going to try. Now this will be just a regular red bell pepper. And here I have a yellow golden pepper. And we're going to do quite a bit of spicy. You'll see. We're going to try a red habanero. Now for the spicy peppers, we're not going to start too many of them, of each variety. Just, I have some family members that really like spicy peppers and we'll see which ones they like. And like that we'll know going forward the next few years which varieties we should be growing more of so that we can have it and enjoy it. At the moment, we don't know which ones we like because it's going to be the first year that I'll be starting peppers from seed. Let me pull up my chair closer. Okay, that's better. Okay, the next time we'll be starting seeds, we've got quite a few in here. This is a big one, a big packet. These I hope are fine because you can see like the seeds are not in the actual packaging. But this is some scallions. We loved having this in our garden last year and we're going to see how long we can keep them in there. Because for us, we enjoyed it into the fall, maybe even into early winter. We still had some out there. Now this one, I don't have a picture for it and I don't know which website it is from. I got this as a gift. This is just some petunia. And I had this in the garden last year as well and it was prolific. It was beautiful. Brought so much life and color to the garden. I have here some asters, which we also really enjoyed having. We're going to incorporate a bunch of flowers. I love that it brings color and life and beauty to the garden. So many pollinators that just love the flowers also. This is another pepper. This is going to be a ghost pepper. Another spicy one. Another spicy pepper, Carolina Reaper. This is a snapdragon. I'm going to put up a picture on the screen for you guys so you can see what it looks like because I'm not even sure what colors they are. And the last one for this day will be eucalyptus, which, like I said, last year I did have flowers in my garden, but I just didn't think about having them as cut flowers put into the house. And I realized that I need some filler flowers. So that's why I bought the eucalyptus and we'll see. Hopefully we have good luck with germinating them. And then we'll have something to fill our vases when we cut the flowers and bring them inside. I like having them outside, but I also enjoy bringing them inside and having it inside as well. And after that, we're going to be starting some zinnias. And anything in here that are in plastic bags are, like I said, from last year. And if I'm growing them again, that means that we enjoyed it last year. Because I have some seeds here that I'm not going to be planting this coming year, and it is from last year. We're going to be starting some basil as well. You don't have to start this indoors. I am going to do it just so that I have a little bit of a head start and I can have an early harvest come spring. Because we love basil, we love pesto with so many things. Then we're going to do some cabbage, cayenne pepper. I would love to make some dried powdered cayenne, so we'll see if we can do that with that. We've got some jalapenos, which we always enjoy in the house, so I figured I might as well try to grow them. And here I have some orange bell peppers. Now, I don't know why, but for some reason on this packet it says that it needs less time than the other peppers. So that's why it's not together with the other bell peppers. And the last one that will be done on that day is some yellow asters. Now this I just ordered because I had a coupon and I had $2 left on the coupon, so I added this packet for the fun of it. It's not going to be as yellow from the pictures. It seems like it's not very yellow. It's more like a buttery white yellow type of color. So we'll see how that looks when it grows. Try to put them all back together neatly so that I have an easier time when it comes to starting each of these. Oh, this one also has a lot. So I have some blue curled Scotch kale. We loved this last year. We are going to do some broccoli. Ooh, now we've got a bunch of tomatoes also for the same reason, because it's going to be the first time I'm starting tomatoes from a seed. And I want to see which one we enjoy fresh, which I don't really enjoy peppers. I don't really enjoy tomatoes fresh, but the rest of my family, what they enjoy fresh, and I want to see what I like to preserve and how. To be able to figure that out, I will grow just one or two of each tomato variety, and it'll give us the opportunity to try them and see how we like to enjoy them. And next year we'll know which ones to grow. So I have here, it's called Matt's Wild Cherry Tomato. We have a Mortgage Lifter, a San Marzano, a Wisconsin 55, Red Potato Leaf Brandy Wine. It's a very long name, but there must be a reason why I decided to do this. And this is a Sweet Pea Currant. Now this I believe will be good for the pizza sauce that I make, a freezer pizza sauce, which you'll see in an upcoming video. I have some tomatoes in my freezer from last year's garden, and I'm thinking of doing it as pizza sauce. I was gonna make it into canned tomato sauce, but I think my family will enjoy the pizza sauce a lot more over the next few months, so I think I'll end up doing the pizza sauce instead. But if you want to see that, hit subscribe and you'll be able to see it then. So the next time we're going to be starting seeds, we're going to do, these are actually going to be out. Are they going to be outside? No, these I will be starting inside. Okay, so we have here some lettuce that I will be starting inside just so that we have a head start and we can have an early harvest come spring. And then we're going to do successive sowing of it, and we're going to start a few indoors until it's time to go out, and then we'll start them outdoors as well. So we'll have a constant rotation of fresh lettuce coming in from the garden. This is a complimentary salad mix that came with my order last year, and we grew it and we loved it, so we're going to grow it again. We are going to try growing some loofah to use as sponges. And this is another flower, some dahlias. Back in my little bundle it all goes. Then I have here some cauliflower. Now this, even though it's in a bag, and I did start it last year, I was hoping to have it in my full garden, but things fell through the crack and my full garden just didn't happen. I started the seeds, I planted them, I transplanted them, but in between I didn't really take care of them, and once they were in the garden bed, I didn't really take care of them either. So I never got to harvest the cauliflower. So we're going to see if we can do it now in the spring. So the next bundle are seeds that will be started outside, and these will be just as soon as our last average frost date has passed, or about that time. So we're going to start some lemon queen sunflower, which I loved last year. They grew so tall. Like my neighbors across the street were like watching uh, from their windows. They were able to see the flowers growing so tall. And they were telling me like, I love seeing it grow. It's so beautiful. So we'll be starting that again with so many bees loving it. And it brought over some birds as well that enjoyed it. Now I have here some garlic chives that I started last year. I'm gonna try starting some more because it was not close to enough. And the packet might have gotten wet, the seeds might have gotten wet, so the germination rate is going to be lower, most probably, because I'm not sure. So if we have a good germination rate, then good for us. But I'm not I'm not getting too excited about it. But also, if needed, I can go out and buy another packet. Here I have some marigolds, flower. The next thing will be some dill. Now, last year I did do some dill, but we had a groundhog that kept getting in to the garden, and he had munched down on the dill, and it never recuperated. And then I realized also that the dill that I got was more of a floral bouquet type of dill, and I wanted for an herb, so I wanted to have the most green leaf possible on it. And from my research, I think this variety is the type that I would need. Mammoth gray stripe sunflower. We're going to see these will be good for roasting the seeds, which last year I didn't realize I didn't have one that was good for roasting the seeds and enjoying them. And I really wanted to do that, so I did some research, and this one seems like it's going to be a good one. And I think it also grows quite tall. 12 feet tall. Wow. And this one grows to how tall? 6 to 8. Ooh, that's going to be massive. Okay. We've got some red cosmos, some baby's breath. Like I said, I want some filler flowers. And we're going to grow some sugar baby watermelon. Now, watermelon is something that my family really enjoys. Not all of the family members, but those of us that do, a regular sized watermelon is just way too big for us. So I figured the baby watermelon is perfect for my family. Now these are also going to be started outside. We've got some cilantro. We've got some black beauty zucchini. We've got some emerald delight squash. Now these two, as you can see, they're both in bags, so they're both from last year. And when I had placed the orders last year, I didn't realize that I don't remember which one I placed first, but I didn't realize that I had squash in both of them. But I grew 2 plants of each, and we like both of them. So I'm going to grow them again. Here we got some Waltham butternut squash. I love some butternut squash soups. So I figured we'll grow some and we'll be able to have soups throughout the fall and winter for next year. And we've got some spaghetti squash, which I love creating dishes with that as well. So that is a great thing to have. And the butternut squash and the spaghetti squash are both things that, if stored well, they will last me through the winter. So we will be enjoying them well past the garden season. And the last thing to be started, which needs to be once it's quite a bit warmer outside, so we would wait about a month from the average last frost date and then start planting it, is some cucumbers. And these were so delicious. We enjoyed them fresh last year. We enjoyed them pickled. We enjoyed them in salads. So many great ways that we enjoyed it, and it was great for whatever we used it. It was really tasty and delicious. Okay, I'm gonna put these back in my little package here, and then we're gonna start bringing stuff in and set up our seed starting station before we can start those onion seeds. We're gonna get the chair out of the way. Okay, the first thing coming here is our shelf rack that is gonna be here. I love that it's on wheels because that allows me to move it to wherever I need it in the room. And come springtime, when we are ready to transplant it and we have to harden over the seedlings, this is very easy to wheel outside. From my kitchen, I have a door to my porch, which this leads out to my porch. I have a porch right here, which is covered, so it protects it from the elements, from any harsh sun rays and from rain and stuff like that when it's still itty bitty tiny and starting the hardening off process. So this just makes it very easy to bring it in and out when that time rolls around. So what I like to do is I have here a little thermometer that I hook up on the rack here. I have to put it this side because the heating vent is right there. Or actually I put it over here so that I can see if it's what the temperature is, and if needed, I have a little heater over here. I have to do a little cleaning. It's been in the basement for a year now, and I keep that. I have an outlet right here too, so we can plug this in, have some heat going. And the outlet is also helpful because once our seedlings sprout, it is good to have a fan blowing on it to mimic the wind, so that when these seedlings go outside, they're not shocked by the environment. So that's why you give them light. You try to have the most natural light possible. If it's enough, you try to have some heat to recreate the warmth in the soil, and you try to have a fan to mimic the wind. The fan I will not get out right now. I will get it out once our onions sprout and I am ready to bring it in. But that setup worked out for me last year perfectly, having the two outlets filled with between this and the heater. I mean, between the heater and the fan. So for now, I'm just going to put it on the bottom shelf here for when we need it, because for now, I think I might need the heater. Okay, so I went out to my gardening shed. I found my seedling trays. Now, these black ones here are the ones that I got last year. And these are ones from tomatoes and peppers that I had bought in the nursery last year, and I figured they're decent enough quality. I can try to repurpose them. And this is a tray to have all these on, because I bottom water them. So I have the trays, I have the seedling trays in here, and I put the water in here. The roots pick it up, and then that prevents any messes. Now I know that I had more than two. I don't know where they are. I only found two right now, which should be good for now. But we're gonna have to see how many. We're gonna have to look for more. If not, I'm gonna have to buy more. Okay, now I knew that I'll be starting a lot more seeds this year than I did last year. So I also got these that are slightly bigger ones. And I also got a bunch of these very big ones. Because like the peppers and tomatoes, I don't want to have to transplant. So I will be starting them in big ones. And like that, we can just keep We'll start one, we'll let it grow because they grow fast. Like that, we only have to transplant it once when it's time to go out in the garden bed. So these I have big stacks. I'm going to put them on the bottom here. Okay, next up here I have a watering can that I use to fill up the trays with water when I bottom feed them. And I have a little mister for when the seedlings are very little and they just need a little bit extra moisture. This is great. And I have here the fertilizer that I used last year. I still have some, so we're going to start off with this. Okay, the next few things I have here is last year when I ordered these trays, I also got some domes to create some humidity for those seeds to help them sprout. And so we're going to keep these over here as well for this year. I also have here some tags so we can label everything. And this is a special marker that is UV resistant. Because if you're using a pen or a Sharpie and then you're putting these tags outside in the garden in the direct sunlight, it will fade. This was specifically designed that the ink does not fade. So we're going to be using these as well. The last thing I have here is, oh, it doesn't have any packaging on it label. I'm going to put it on the screen for you. This is the compost that I ordered to start these seeds. And I had great success with it last year. So I ordered it again and we're going to use it again this year. And last year I had plenty of leftover compost to once I was done starting all the seeds that I was going to start indoors. And I figured this year, even though I'm starting more, it should be enough for me. And if not, then I should have time to order. This, I'm going to keep it in the box that it came in so that we don't create a mess here. But also, no, I'm thinking once it's open, I don't want the smell here in the house. So I might just put it into my garage. That's what I had done last year. And it worked out fine for us like that. Put my hair up because we're going to start working with the soil and I don't want my hair getting in the way. But I wanted to show you, I need to do some more research because the seeds that I'm ordering still are seeds that I'm planning to plant direct sown into the garden beds once I harvest things like my garlic and my onions and I free up a lot of space in my beds. The only thing I need to do still is I have to make sure that once those things are harvested, I have enough days for it to germinate before the first average frost come fall time. That information can usually be found on the packet. For this, I'm not really worried because the onions, it's going to come out early enough. What's it called? I just need to do also some calculations now and see how many onions I need to start. And another thing I want to note is that on the packages, it should list a germination rate. That will tell you on average, if you were to plant 100 seeds, how many of these seeds would germinate. That also gives you a bigger picture of how many you should actually start, because it usually is recommended to start more than you think that you need. So I won't need to start extra of each of them. I'm just going to do the math to see how many I should start. So I did my math and I will have space for about 48 onions. The two white varieties, the New York Early and the Powell F1, I hope to get 20 of each. So I will start probably between 25 and 30 of this. And for the ruby red onions, I want to have 8. So I will start about 12 to 14 of it to make sure that I have enough. Now, let's get to planting. Now, usually I do this with my hands. I love the feel of the soil on my hands, my fingers, under my nails, I know. It just, my hands are super dry. The last few weeks I've been struggling, so I will be working with gloves today. All I'm going to do is I'm going to take my soil that I have right here. You can see, hold it away from you. I have it right here. I'm going to use my bowl here that I used last year and I saved it. Might as well use it from year to year. I'm going to put some soil in here. I'm going to get it wet, get it nice and moist. I'll show you how wet you want it. Then we're going to start filling up some seedling trays. I opened it up, the bag, and without even opening it, just unraveling the fabric, the thread, the smell came wafting out. Ooh. I know some people don't like this, but oh, this feels so good. This feels like spring to me. Okay, so I hydrated the soil here. And what you want is, you don't want it dripping wet. Like when you hold it up and squeeze it, you don't want it to drip water. But you want that when you squeeze it, it holds up the structure. So this is perfect. I'm going to start filling up some of the trays. And I know that I need at least 48 of them. So I'm going to move this out of the way. So for the white onions, we're going to do 5 trays of each variety. And then for the reds, we're going to do 2 of these of each variety. Now these, because they're going to be planted out in a couple weeks, not a couple weeks, in like 6 to 8 weeks, they're going to go outside. Then these pots will be able to be reused for anything that will be starting afterwards that needs a small seed cell. And we'll be able to save those for things that need bigger ones. So let me bring you guys closer so you can see how I fill them. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to get some soil. I have my bowl back here. We're going to have to do this a few times. And we're just going to push it into the little cells. And we're going to push it down. We're not going to compact it very much because we want roots to be able to develop. But we're going to push down a little bit to make sure that the soil goes all the way to the bottom. Now I think for next year, or for even later on in the season, I should get myself a bigger bucket or bowl to use so that I can do more at a time. And I should be able to fill those cells right over it, because right now I have some soil flowing down into the tray. So we have some loss. But we're making do with whatever we have. So I'm going to do this until I have all of my trays filled up with soil. I'm making a mess. I remember now that last year I did this in the bathroom over the sink. Or in the shower. I don't even remember. Now I know why. I was smarter without experience. Hey, now I have some extra soil in here that I did hydrate, but this just sitting out, if it dries out between now and when I start my next seeds, I'll just rehydrate it. So I'll just add it back into the bag with all the compost. I'm going to add this bowl in there as well. So whenever I want to start seeds, I have this together with my compost. So I believe I am going to start my heater. And I'll turn it on now already because it is 70 degrees in here, and seeds generally germinate between like an average about 75. So that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna plug it in and turn it on, and we're gonna have it right here. I'm gonna put it on the shelf under, because I feel like if it's directly on the same shelf, then it'll dry out the soil very fast. So this entire tray here is going to be one of the white onions. We're going to start off with the New York Early. Let me actually get some tags ready. So I'm just going to do 1 for the New York Early. I'm going to do 1 for the Powell F1. And I'll do 2 for the red onions because I'm going to do 2 trays and I want to make sure I know which 2 trays are the red. Otherwise, I'll know that this tray is one white, this tray is another white. So now we're going to open these up. And I think this is the first company that is actually easy to open without tearing it apart. I'm gonna get a little bowl for this. So now, because I don't want to get my hands dirty, if I wash it too much, then my hands will get even drier than it already is. So what I'm gonna do is I have one ramekin here with some water. I have one ramekin here with my seeds. I'm gonna get the tip of my toothpick here wet, and I'm gonna pick up one seed at a time, if this works. Yes. And I'm just gonna put it into the soil, and I'm gonna press it in a little bit. And probably every couple of times I'm gonna have to wet my toothpick again. And I like this because with my finger I leave a big indent, and then I have to cover it up with this. I barely do anything to the soil, and with a toothpick I can just quickly cover it back up. Now if you want, you can add more than one seed per cell, and when they germinate you would have to thin them. I am not going to do that because I'm starting more than I need, accounting for that germination rate not being perfect. But according to my research that I did, my education that I've done over the last few months, is that it's best for onions to start off just one onion per cell if you want to get nice big onions, bulbs. So that's what we are going to do here. Just one seed per cell. I can't tell you how excited I am to have this back here at this time of year again. Oh, I loved it last year. And I'm so excited that I get to do way more than I did last year. The only thing with using these toothpicks that I'm picking up as a problem is that I have to keep track of where I already put in the seed and where I haven't. I hope that I didn't miss any. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna mist the top of all of these to make sure that the seeds are actually getting wet, because it needs moisture. Now once they are watered, I'm gonna cover them with little domes that I have here to create some humidity and help with the sprouting. So guys, if you enjoyed this video and you made it this far, I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to watch this video. And I hope that you will hit the like button to let me know that you've enjoyed it. And if you're new here and you haven't subscribed yet, but you want to see more, consider hitting that subscribe button. And you will be able to watch the process until these are harvested. And if you want to watch more videos between now and my next upload, I will pop them up on the screen for you to enjoy. Okay, now that I have this done, we're going to do some work in my little planner so that we know when to fertilize and when to harvest.